Hi, guys. This is kbunschoten, the founder and CEO of Certum Solutions here in North Carolina. And I'm coming to you with again, a monthly roundup of our new QuickBooks Online features that have come out and my personal opinions about the ones that they do come out with. So, before we get started, if you like this type of video, if you like the QuickBooks Online updates videos or content about QuickBooks Online, do me a favor and like the video itself. If you want to support our channel and help us get to that next level here with YouTube, if you could go ahead and subscribe to our channel and you'll be notified when we have more great content that comes your way. Okay, so before I get started, a quick second to talk about QuickBooks Online Advanced. We returned and it was a blur through the holidays. I'm actually late getting this video out. I'm fully aware and I am so sorry. But we're back on track now. They held QuickBooks Connect this year in early December in Las Vegas. It was a beautiful venue. The food was awesome. The speakers were amazing. I do not have enough good to say about this year's event. I was so excited to go. Some things that I'm going to do this coming year, some lessons learned. I will definitely make reservations because the restaurants in the vicinity, they stay booked. Now it's Las Vegas, so you can walk just about anywhere. It's not like you're going to starve. But if you're eating in the venue, I wish I would have made reservations, and that's kind of typical for some of the events that we go to. So if you do go to another Connect, if you plan to eat in one of the in-venue restaurants, you might want to do that beforehand. The other thing that I meant to do and I left off with amazing speakers. You had Serena Williams, you had Simon Sinek, you had Malcolm Gladwell, you had Carla Hall. I mean, there were some huge names there, right? I have read Gladwell's work and I didn't get the chance to read Talking to Strangers, which I just finished, but I started reading that at the show. I'm not positive that's his most recent one. I also read Dave and Goliath several years ago, which was an amazing read, but I wish I would have done more reading and research on the speakers before I went, because starting like Simon Sinek's Infinite Game, I started reading that at the venue, and it would have given me a lot more context into some of the speeches if I would have actually read it beforehand. So that's another thing I probably would have done differently. I love that Serena Williams actually talked about her faith. You know, there's this weird little dynamic. Do you or don't you bring in your faith into business? And I'm going to refrain from commenting on that. But I did think that it was really cool that she did. She said that had to do with a lot of her business decisions and so on, as mine does with mine. And a lot of people, you know, faith is a big part of our lives, and that comes into play in our day-to-day life. So I thought it was really cool that she sat up there and she actually talked about that openly in during the show. So all that being said, I loved Connect. The room was awesome. Loved hanging out with colleagues because we work remotely and we don't get to see each other every day, even though I wish we could. And that's enough of me jibber jabbering on about that. So let's get on to some updates, shall we? As a reminder, I do like to insert my personal opinions into my videos. It's just who I am. So feel free to check with your tax advisor, your accountant, whomever your personal advisors are. This is meant as education with a little bit of entertainment, okay? Thanks again. So let's go ahead and jump in. And because these are new features, and because I have been a little behind, I do have my notes this time, so we're going to go through and knock through this, because they actually, as part of one of the big stage sessions, went through so many new features that are coming to QuickBooks Online. I personally was blown away, and there's lots of features in there where I'm like, I have wanted this for years and it's here and I'm so excited, okay? But I just want to make sure I hit on all. And one that I'm not going to talk about today, but I know it's coming because they announced it, is the ability to pull check images from the bank through the bank feeds. That is huge. I think LedgerSync used to do it back in the day. I've not used that app in a minute, but I think it still does. But having that additional backup where you don't have to pull it and move it to the books is huge, okay? And beyond that, I mean, a lot of people say, and I'm going to have people out there that may disagree with this, well, you have bank feeds, that is your source document. No, 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 that's not a source document. You still need to have source documents, receipts, contracts, whatever, on hand in your books somewhere for this stuff. And a lot of times that part gets pushed to the side. It doesn't seem important, but it is so critical in case of an audit or in case of having to refer back. Okay, so having those check images pull over is huge. So moving on from there. We are first going to go through the QuickBooks Business Network. QuickBooks is not the first company to do this, where you have like vendors, customers, you have like a whole big community that's being built around users of the software. There's another software, at least one I know that did it in the past. I don't know that it was that successful, but I think looking at how QuickBooks is planning to launch theirs versus some others I've seen, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be great. You can also get paid with PayPal and Venmo. And that part actually is super cool because you don't need a PayPal or Venmo account. Wait for it. It's going to be part of your QuickBooks Payments subscription. So if you haven't taken a look at QuickBooks Payments in a minute, reach out to us. We can actually do a complimentary review, but you can be paid with PayPal and Venmo through your QuickBooks Payment subscriptions that will go onto your invoice, be done through your invoice, come in through your bank feed and auto reconcile. How awesome is that? Because I can tell you, for one, as an accountant, when I have PayPal customers and having to reconcile that extra account that's out in the cloud that sometimes some of them don't use that often, this is going to be a real time saver, okay? So, and I'm trying to give you the ones that I'm not going to demonstrate today, because the ones that I am going to demonstrate, I want to make sure that we do some screen time, but I wanted to say hi to y'all. So here we go. We also have more automations coming out. With that, bank transactions are going to be more intuitive. They're going to run rules first, I believe, so that it doesn't accidentally bring in duplicates sometimes. And then you're going to have auto add rules are being enhanced. And then the last part is the revenue recognition, which I'm going to do in a separate little spiel here. And we're going to, and so you'll see that in a minute. You can also compare your estimated cost to actual cost. Now, this is funny, right? And I'll go through this in a minute. So previously, you've had projects that feature around for a while, although it was not available in the API catalog. If you were a programmer trying to integrate to QuickBooks Online, those always take a minute. I don't know if it's there yet. So if you are a developer, check out the Intuit Developer Portal to see if that's in there yet. That being said, the funny thing about QuickBooks Online was in QuickBooks Desktop, which I started my career in, we always did costing at an item level. We didn't do it at a chart of accounts level. I mean, you can kind of, but most of your WIP reports, your job cost reports, all these super duper heavy reports, they're based off of items, right? Well, when you came over to QuickBooks Online, we did have some people that were like, hey, it's funny because we don't have it at this item level anymore. A lot of it was at the chart of accounts level. Following me? So we had it at the chart of accounts level. Well, now with this new recent update, they're bringing the item job costing feature back to QuickBooks Online, which is really intriguing to me, right? Because that's where I came from. That's what I was used to. Then the projects kind of work differently. And now this item thing is there, which also begs the question, they just came out with an enhanced migration tool. Will it bring over those item-based job cost reports through that migration tool? That would be really interesting to see. So I can't wait to see if that's the case. So with that being said, I think I whizzed through some of these updates. They were super awesome, right in time for Christmas. I'm late getting this out again. I'm so sorry. But I'm about to go ahead and pause this video while I launch my QuickBooks Online and we go through the job estimated cost versus actuals report, which is kind of like a light job cost report, which actually has some really cool little nuancy features to it that I prefer over desktop. So that's huge. And then we're going to go over a feature I have wanted forever, revenue recognition. Okay, so with revenue recognition, you know what? I'm going to shut up right now and I'm going to jump over to my QuickBooks and we're going to go through it. Haha. All right, talk to you in a minute. And we are back. Where is the confetti gun? So jumping into the two features I want to make sure I demonstrate live. We've got two features. We've got the job cost feature through the projects button, And we have the revenue recognition, which I'm particularly excited about, if I could speak. So the first one that we're going to do has to do with the projects button. It's down here in your left-hand navigational ribbon. And projects has been around for a minute. I do know that it used to be not available in the API for the developers, but I think they've changed that. You may want to check, if you are a developer, check with the developer portal to make sure. That being said, it used to be at a chart of accounts level. If you were doing like trying to figure out your profit in a project, you could do it with projects, but didn't really do like true job costing. It's still a little iffy. I'll show you what I mean. It's not nearly at the level the QuickBooks Enterprise is, but if you're trying to look at your margins on a project and so on, it will take care of you there. So that being said, your projects button is over here in your left-hand navigation. And here, I'll show you what it is. So previously, if you had a project here, let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 project, okay? It would let you have your income, which would be through your invoices, and then it'd have your costs through your expenses and your bills, and it would show you what your profit is, okay? But that was all based kind of with like a hatchet level, like you'd have it at the chart of accounts. Now they've added the feature where it is actually at the item level, which is more native to me because that's kind of what I'm used to with desktop. And so it's fantastic to see this brought to life here in QuickBooks Online. Is that a compelling reason to move from desktop to online? I would think so in certain cases, if this is what's holding you back. That being said, like I say with everything, double check it, run through it, do your own testing. I don't care if you have a consultant. Do your own testing and make sure this is how you want it to be, okay? So that being said, to turn on the new job costing with the item level costing functionality, we have to do a couple things. We have to go to your accountant settings, and we have to make sure, first off, projects is turned on, right? So if you're not using projects yet, you have to turn that on. Now, ours was already turned on. So to turn that on, you go up to the gear in the top right, you go to advanced in the left ribbon, and you turn on projects. Then the next thing we have to turn on are our items tab or table. So basically, instead of only being able to allocate expenses at an account level, you have to be able to allocate things at an item level. That may be a little tricky if you use your bank feeds and everything's defaulting to the chart of accounts level. If that's the case, if it has to do with a project, you may have to go back in and edit it before, or enter it first and then have it match. But for the most part, that shouldn't be too much trouble. So to turn that on, the items table on expense and purchase forms, you go to the left-hand ribbon, go to expenses, and turn on your items table. I know I talk fast, I talk a lot. You can slow this video down if you need me to speak a little slower. So that's done there. I'm going to go ahead and hit done. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is pick an item that I'm going to test this with. Okay, so I went back to my gear, I went to products and services because that's where my item list lives. Okay, and I'm going to go down to 4,000 because that's the one I'm going to pick on today. And I'm just making sure this is what I know of as a double-sided item. Now, what does that mean? That means it's not just like, here's my labor, one-sided, like I'm a designer, pay me for my design labor. This would be more like my employees or my subcontractors are also designers. I have to pay them too. So instead of just one side, I have two sides out now. Okay, that's a double-sided item. To make sure that this is a double-sided item, you want to go down to your description and click the box that says I sell this to my customers. And you want to make sure you click the box that says I purchase it from a vendor. And that vendor could be an employee, it could be a sub, it could be anything. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save and close. So now in theory, we're prepped. Now let's go to our left-hand navigation again and click on our projects. Okay, and today we're going to be working in an empty project because I kind of want to show you what this looks like with nothing else to interfere with it. So let's pick job 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Charlie Brown. And that actually does have costs in there. So let's go back a minute. Let's see, I kind of wonder, here it is, new project with Charlie Brown. Let's pick this one. This has no income, has no cost and no profit. That's perfect. So we want to click on the green button to the top right and hit add to project. And it's very important you hit a cost estimate. For those of you that are on desktop and are watching this video, if you're using job costing, you have to do this too, because you can't track your actual costs versus your estimated costs if you don't have estimated costs in there to begin with, okay? So this is where it gets your estimated cost. Now let me call your attention to something here that I think is really cool. You pull this estimate up and it says your estimated profit margin is this. All right, that's in black and white for you to view. You're not digging up a report or trying to calculate it, and it's in a very defined and prominent location, which I think is cool, especially if you're online on your tablet in the field or something and you're trying to say, okay, da 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 da, it should be right there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick our service date, and I'm going to pick labor, and I'm going to use our item, I believe it was 4,000 for design, and I'm going to put rate of 150. Now that is my cost. And then over here, I'm going to put my customer price, and I'm just going to put 250 or what have you. I'm just picking a number, and then it automatically defines my markup. Okay. Now, you can write over this markup field and put like, I want to do this, and it's going to default back to whatever I've put in my rate. I know that they're working on this. I believe in the future you're going to be able to override that markup percentage. But here, if you could see, if I put 150% markup, it's just defaulting right back. Okay. Now, if I clear this out, let's see how that does. So let's do. Okay, so that just clears it out altogether. So the markup field is being defined off of the rate that you key in. I know their intention is for that markup field to be a calculator too, but it looks like that's not quite live yet. Just keep in mind that you put in your rate, and that's going to tell you what your markup is. And then go ahead and take a look at this. Now let's scroll up here. So it looks like my profit margin's about 40% on this. That's fantastic. I can see it right there. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I overwrote that because we're not working with classes today. And I'm overriding that because I don't really care that we have two. But if this was a real file, I would. If this is a real file, my accountant brain would be going, nope, 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 nope. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh this project. Okay, saying MK a lot today. I don't know what's up with that, but we will move on, right? So you know what I did. I don't think I put this to the actual project, did I? I'm a genius. Okay, let's backtrack here for a second. Estimate 15. Did I put it in here? Charlie Brown new project. I put it there. Did I put it in my line item? No, it should be there. We've got it. There's an estimate. So let's see. Let's play this out. Let's see where this is going to go. Okay. So then we want to add some expense to the project. So pretend that I had a subcontractor and I went ahead and I put expense to this project. Let's pick somebody here. I'm just picking something. And then we want to do this under the item. And I'm just going to put, actually, let's change this. Okay. And then we want to put Charlie Brown new project. Okay, perfect. And we hit save and close. Okay, so it's tracking our costs there. We've got our estimate, we've got our costs there. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? That was on me. I forgot to make it open. This will not work on pending estimates. I was wondering why that looks so funny. So let's go ahead and change this. You see the status up here underneath the name. So this should, I believe, only work on open or close, accepted and closed estimates. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and close again. Don't you love it when you get to see me learn on video? Okay, so let's see. So we've got our costs. Okay, perfect. So let's make sure this is going to be there so we can run our reports on it. Estimates versus actuals. All dates. Okay, so this is a report that we're generating here, okay? We did our estimates versus actuals for Charlie Brown's new project. Per the estimate that we just did, we put in our estimated cost was 150. Our actual cost was 80. What's our difference and our percent difference? And then we have estimated income. Because I haven't invoiced yet, it's not showing my actual income, and then it would show the difference there, okay? So that's that new feature for the estimates versus actuals reporting. You also still have your project profitability and the rest, those reports that kind of look more like a P&L to me. And if we had an income number, that would be more, that would show some information there. So that right there is the one new feature, the estimates versus actuals. Again, it's only with QuickBooks Online Advanced. And next we're going to demonstrate the I can't say revenue today. What is wrong with me? Revenue recognition feature. Oh my gosh. So to do that, we want to hit the gear in the top right. And we want to go back over into expenses, I want to say. No, 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 I am wrong. Um, Let me check my notes here. I know we've got it under, okay, it's under sales. Duh. Okay, so we've got it under sales. And we want to go here to product and services. I have not actually used this feature in here before. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on revenue recognition. I did it. Oh my gosh. And then you can do your frequency. Now, this field cannot be edited at this time. I'm interested to see if it can be edited in future, but most companies are going to do their revenue recognition on a monthly basis anyway. Now, let me give you a little backstory, okay? I used to be the controller for a specialty food company, and we did a lot of rev rec, and this has been a minute ago, and we use QuickBooks. And what QuickBooks used to say is if you need revenue recognition, just do each invoice for each month, like, $10 this month and $10 next. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to do that. You're going to have to do some accrual entries at the end of the month. So what we would have is we would have our deferred income, okay? And under the deferred income, y'all, I roll it myself. I had an Excel sheet that I used to break down what I needed to bring over every month. And every month I use this Excel sheet as my work paper, and I would do my revenue recognition based on my hourly or my yearly invoices that I had to break down by month. Now QuickBooks does that for you in theory, and you're going to be here with me while I test it out, okay? Now you've seen that I've gone in and I've turned on revenue recognition. Now I'm going to hit new and I'm going to hit invoice. Okay. And I'm just going to pick a client. Let's see. Let's pick Mr. Cruz. Okay. It's interesting. I'm looking over here at the cards feature under payments and I don't see the Venmo and PayPal there, but I know that they offer that now. So I'm interested to see if we'll show a little button pretty soon. Okay, so we're going to do invoice date. Oh, mm, mm, I goofed. Okay, before we do this, we have to do something else. We have to go over to the gear and go to products and services and set up our item for the revenue recognition, okay? Now for this one, I'm going to set up a brand new item, okay? Because I just don't want to mess with one of the older ones. Revenue recognition test, okay? Now I'm going to skip all this and I'm going to put 1200 services, and this is our sales tax feature that popped up for like what, last month. That's how fast these features come out, guys. Love that. However, I'm also not a fan of change, so it's very difficult characteristic to have in my personality. So what I do is I enjoy the change, but I also test the change very frequently. Okay, so under revenue recognition it says new, and I said I recognize this revenue monthly, and we're going to pick our liability account. Now it should have a deferred revenue account. It looks like it wants us to set that up ourselves. So let's go through here, see if we have anything under deferred revenue. Okay, okay. You know what I'm going to Ooh, unearned revenue. That should work for this. And then we have our service interval as months. You know, the funny thing is the fact that I see that popping up as a button makes me think they're going to add more intervals to that, but that's okay. Service duration is 12. And I'm not going to make this double-sided right now. I'm going to be interested to see if that actually affects how it works, but I don't think it will. But as you may get to know about me, I am not perfect and I make frequent mistakes sometimes when I'm trying to demonstrate this stuff. So let's go back to our customer and let's pick Mr. Cruz again. Okay, so then I'm going to pick our revenue recognition. Okay, and then something you may want to know about QuickBooks, this goes for your memorized transactions too. You typically cannot pick a date before today. You can usually pick today and forward. That goes for a lot of stuff with this software. So just putting in test for revenue recognition, and then the quantity is the number. So if you have like 5 one-year subscriptions, you're going to do 5 one-year subscriptions, okay? And then it's at 1,200. And then you want to put your class if you have classes. And so for that, all being said, I'm going to go ahead and save this. Oh, biscuits. Let's unclick send later. Hit save again. And it's been saved. Perfect. Now, you're going to get this really cool little hyperlink that's under revenue recognition test. It says view your revenue recognition. It kind of reminds me of the enhanced vendors, I believe, with desktop, where it kind of also has that pop out where you kind of take a look at things. So then this is going to show you your revenue recognition schedule of how this is going to actually show in your books, and this will post on its own and you won't have to worry about it. That takes human error out of it. It makes sure everything's going on swimmingly, and that is less time for you to have to worry about those horrible Excel sheets. So with that being said, those are the 2 features that are mainly QuickBooks Online Advanced. I'm going to go through real quick before we conclude this video. Yeah, that's it. So those 2 features are only QuickBooks Online Advanced. That being said, your QuickBooks Business Network, getting paid with PayPal and Venmo, and some of your automation functionality, and I'm assuming once the check images coming over, once that's live, that'll be here too, should be with all tiers. If you have questions about what's on your tier, or you just want to talk to us about which tier is right for you or what third-party applications will help you make the most of your software, we are always here. I'm going to post a link to our booking page below this video, and if I can help with anything else, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being so patient while we muddled through these new features that we are learning too, and I can't wait to show you more features for January. Talk to you soon. Bye.